Hey guys, it's me, Sesu, and I'm doing a little bit of a different video today. This is kind of off the cuff. I haven't been doing too much DDR recently. I caught COVID, and I still have COVID, so I'm stuck here at home. But I saw that a lot of people were talking about something on Twitter recently, and I wanted to come on camera and kind of give my opinions on it. And what it is whether it's ethical to play Dance Dance Revolution Ace 3 at home. So earlier today, I opened up Twitter and I saw that Chrono, a extremely talented player from Puerto Rico, had MFC'd Possession Expert. This tweet was getting tons of traction. A lot of people were very happy, but many Korean and Japanese players immediately noticed that he was playing on an unofficial version of DDR A3. So there was kind of a split. All the Korean and Japanese players were upset about him posting the score publicly, and then American players had the opposite opinion, saying that not enough people in America and overseas have access to the mining games, and if Konami really wanted us to support their products so much, why don't they make it more globally accessible? So I want to give my opinion on this situation and talk a little bit about my personal history with piracy, as far as I know, in America with Bamani games. So to start off, piracy of Bamani games like Dance Dance Revolution are not a new thing. Up until the early 2010s, people, if they wanted to play DDR or 2DX at home, they usually would import the games from Japan, and if they didn't have the money to do that, they would play Stepmania if they were trying to simulate DDR. They would play Lunatic Rave for 2DX and DTX Mania for Itadora. In the early 2010s, when Konami stopped releasing home versions of the Bamani games, private networks started popping up. The first of these networks was Programmed World. A group of people had basically reverse engineered the Konami e-amusement network so that people could play, I think it was 2DX Resort Anthem and onwards, so they could play this online in the US. And there were even arcades in the US that were running 2DX cabinets online on Programmed World, and you could scan your e-amusement pass just like you would in Japan and save your scores there. There were private sites where you could download Bamani data and play it at home. Programmed World got hit with a cease and desist in the early 2010s, and that was around the time that Konami had started exporting Bamani games at round one. So since then, obviously people have continued pirating these games and playing them at home, but it's become a little more secret. Recently, I think that American players have gotten kind of fed up with not having access to DDR, and people have been more outright sharing footage of these illegally pirated games. So I want to go over some of the arguments for piracy. First of all, there are so many places throughout the world where there is no access to the newest Bamani games. For example, there's Latin America and South America. Private networks are pretty popular for playing DDR down there. There's Europe and England, where there are no online DDR cabinets. And there are also areas of the US where it's just too remote to go to the arcade. If you want to be a high-level DDR player, there's no way that you can drive 2, 3, 4 hours to a round one more than once a week. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I use Grand Prix, and any videos you see of me playing at home are going to be on DDR Grand Prix, the official home version for DDR. But DDR Grand Prix is flawed. It's expensive. It costs about $15 a month to play this game. You have to spend more money on tickets and song packs. there's no English language support, so it's very hard to get set up. And if you can't afford it, then what are you going to do? Just not play DDR at all? Konami doesn't officially support American players, so I can kind of understand why people would want to play at home. I want to give some arguments against it as well. Konami can see when overseas players are using the home versions of their games. And just because there's no English language support doesn't mean that it can't happen in the future. Uniana has already localized 2DX and Sound Voltex for Korean players. I also think that you should be supporting your local Round 1 and Dave Busters. I mean, Dave Busters has its flaws, but you should be supporting them just to show them that the DDR fan base cares enough that they want the machines to stay there and stay online. Having Round 1 in the USA, if you live close enough to one, it's a blessing. And I think that you should be supporting them as much as possible to encourage them to open up more locations. But that just kind of leads into my personal opinion. I don't personally support pirating Bamani games. If you live close to a Round 1, you should be going there because they are giving revenue share to Konami. If Konami is seeing that a lot of American players are supporting the game, it will motivate them to expand operations here. It's also important to support local communities. Even if you don't have a Dave & Buster's or a Round 1, you just have a small arcade with In the Groove or an offline version of DDR, you should be going there to support small businesses. I mean, these local communities, and especially these local tournaments, do so much for keeping the game alive in the US. If you don't have access to the arcade, I think it's worth trying Grand Prix. I think that if DDR is making a lot of money, they're going to spend more money on commissioning artists and releasing content to keep people engaged. I mean, I hate some of the more greedy events in DDR, like Golden League, where you have to go to the arcade every month to unlock the newest songs. But some of these events have given us such awesome music, like the new Bamani Pro League songs, like Abrupt Madness, Chromatic Burst. All these songs are really great, and they wouldn't have come out if there weren't campaigns like Bamani Pro League and Golden League. And as I said, if a lot of players overseas are supporting the game, they might feel more encouraged to localize it for other regions. If you can't afford it, I don't hold any grudges against you for pirating the game. But I just wouldn't outwardly support posting it. I mean, so many people are posting videos of them playing DDR A3 at home, just kind of as a fuck you to Konami. But all that does is give Konami more of a motivation to crack down on private servers. And I just don't want to ruin a good thing, you know. If you can't monetarily support Konami, or you don't want to, which I totally understand as well, I still recommend, you know, engaging with Konami on Twitter, the official DDR accounts. If they see a lot of Americans and foreigners retweeting and engaging with these public announcements, they're going to see, oh, you know, a lot of people overseas care about the game. Support KC or the Bamani Pro League. That also shows that, you know, we in America and overseas care about the game. But anyways, that's all I have to say about piracy of Bamani games. How do you feel? Do you think that we should be supporting Konami even if they are giving us a complicated and expensive payment system? Or do you think that it's in our rights to play the game however we can until they make it more accessible? Leave your opinion in the comments. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So, thank you. And if you like these types of videos, maybe I'll do more commentary about DDR. This is kind of a one-off video. We'll just kind of see how it goes and how people feel. But yeah, I hope you have a great day. I'm going to go back to sleep and recover from COVID so I can play more DDR soon, hopefully. Bye-bye.